Well, hello there, all ye Pimlico attendees. Here we
hmm
are, Saturday, second day so far. You fared out pretty well, though. First day, Keith,
Yeah,
didn't you?
first day was all right.
Yeah,
We saw
yeah,
the ball okay. Our
yeah.
price shot, man, from first to third in about 2 jumps. That was tough. Tall order. I
Yep.
think it ended up going off about right around 15 to 1. A good effort. We were around them. If you box those horses we had in that race, so you
Yep.
caught the try, you caught the exacted, a real good number. So we're happy about that. Yeah, we're off here for a Saturday.
There, let's keep this rolling. Let's keep all
hmm
this good stuff rolling. Let's take a look at what we've got going on right now. Muddy track
Yeah.
off the turf today. Pimlico tends to dry up pretty well, though, so
hmm
we may get back to a fast track by the time the day ends. We'll see how it goes, but still nice summer weather that we have going on here, Keith.
It is. It's a little steamy. We've been dodging. We're going to be dodging, it looks like, some of these storms that are in the area for the next couple of days. We just got hit a little bit more here than in some other parts. Talking to my partner, Bill,
Yep.
with Equibase, he lives a little further north. He really didn't
Okay.
get too much rain. So it's just kind of a matter of where you're at, I guess, and how lucky you are to miss it. But, yeah, unfortunately, off the turf this afternoon.
I'm always keeping an eye on my little radar app that I have. But here we go.
All right.
First race kicks off that early pick 5 in this maiden claiming 12-5. Mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old. Scratch the 1, the rail horse King Joey. So now the rail horse, the number 2. Keith, you have a special little stat on this one. For Anthony Ferrier gets Axel Concepcion 4 a step ahead.
Yeah, I'd like the ROI to be a little bit higher, but percentage is good. 5 for 15, 33%, 11 for 15 in the money the last couple of years here for Ferrier with the maiden claimers. First off the claim. You talked about the couple scratches, the 1 and the 4. Main speed threat comes from the 6. Great call. Step ahead, though. I thought ran really well a couple races back at Laurel. Hook from the inside. He kept on gamely. I don't know if he necessarily needs the lead. But you saw yesterday, you wanted to be kind of forward. I think this one will with an alert break and can take them a long way in here.
Not as lucky as us. You have in your exacta 8 to 5 morning line Kenny Cox, Angel Cruz, still keeping that 8 to 5 right now. Bred well enough to handle this wet dirt here today and has one decent effort on it.
Yeah, unfortunately, DQ'd in that race. Should have been through the maiden ranks back at Colonial on July the 21st. Came back in in a 2-win life against a little bit better field. Cavalry Command had the easy trip there. Was able to control it the whole way around the racetrack. But I tell you what, not as lucky as us. Continued on, improved buyer, holds that form, hoping for a little bit of a battle to heat up here on the front and between the 2 step ahead and the 6 great call. If it does, that's really going to enhance his chances.
And there we have it, 2, 3, 6, 5 to start the day off for Keith Fusel. Race number 2 is a claiming 10,000. Also kicks off that early pick 4. Not a magic number. We are not sharing magic numbers today,
No,
Keith.
we're not doing the 24. And get you started. Watch Pressing Concern beat us here in the opener. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 to get you started. And you had a good pick. You had the Delacour firster. Monticello at a good price yesterday. I don't know.
1.
Yeah, and the way I structured that ticket, we knew that was a spread race. I'm really upset with myself. Should have just kind of added just one more horse in there. It's tough to have one dollar, not the other. That's just
Right,
that's just stupid of me. I don't know how I missed that. But good pick on your behalf and a good exacta, the Delacour exacta there on the turf. So we go 5 deep to get you started. Race 2, race 3. For the early pick 4, you're going to have to scratch the 1 Matty Bone, the 7 Betty Boss. That's going to leave me with the 3 Black Time and Rain and the 4 Sweet Shugs. Race 4, 3 deep with the 1, 2, and 7. Wrap it up with a single in race 5. Sheriff Ronnie. Might be now or never for Sheriff Ronnie. Yeah, he could win on the drop, but, he's had some tough trips as well. We'll talk about that race in a little bit, but there's your early pick 4 ticket for $15.
A good way to work that on your single for Keith Fusel. $15 ticket for an early pick 5, which does start in this claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, going 6 furlongs on the dirt, which have never won a 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at your top selection. Captain Cardo, now in the barn of Corrales. Kennedy Barragate gets the call on this one. Tough, tricky start last time out.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. A little trouble there at the Big T, kind of squeezed back at the break. I tell you, though, finished up okay. We're going to watch this one more time. The trouble there from in between horses. Had to go ahead and steady back. Cost him a couple lengths. And Timonium, it's really hard to give up any ground. Decides to stay inside and got that good ground-saving trip into the stretch. Weren't going to beat Bowie's 2-step that day. That horse was razor sharp. Took a big hit in the late money too, 6 to 1 down like the 5 to 2. But anyhow, I thought Captain Cardo finished up well. He's run his better races for Corrales. He's back in the Corrales barn, and he's run a good race over this racetrack. He's going to need some help up front. There's no doubt about it. I think Mosifis is going to be sharp off the claim, showing that speed off short rest, off the half mile at Timonium. Pressing Concern. Island Delight likes to be close. And Let Freedom Spring, the big dropper, certainly looks like the horse to beat. That's your top selection. But maybe Captain Cardo gets that dream setup to run in late to nab him at a price. But I think the horse to beat is your top selection. Let Freedom Spring.
Keith Fusel did really well with his value play yesterday. Maybe we can continue that a little bit to kick things off really nicely here on this Saturday. As Keith, you go 3-2.
Yeah, let's talk about the two real quick. We saw Jones and Mendez team up at the Big T for a win. The barn hasn't won a lot of races in Maryland. They've knocked on the door quite a few times. This is an aggressive move, I still think. Didn't run terrible in that off-the-turf event at Saratoga against the grain of the racetrack that day. Woo, here we go.
Hi.
Oh, look at that shot.
Hello.
That's enough to scare somebody. Go running. Well, not you, but me running to the exit showing that. I mean, that's terrible. But anyhow,
short, Keith, but, all right.
Let Freedom Spring. I think tries before that were good enough, and I think will probably be aggressively ridden to get position, but doesn't necessarily need to might let some of these other horses go and just make that pounce move on the turn. Going to be an awfully short price here in race 2, but I'll take a shot with a price with the 3, Captain Cardo.
There we go. Value play of the day for Keith Fusel and Captain Cardo. Race at number 3 is an off-the-turf event. Now we're 5 furlongs on the dirt. In the Claiming 40, which have never won 2, scratch the 1 Matty Bow, scratch the 7 Biddy Boss. And let's go ahead and take a look at your top selection. And Sweet Shugs from that last effort out. That was a turf effort, but still, this can transfer pretty well.
Yeah, Sweet Shugs on the improve here. You see the numbers kind of going up and up and up and running well. It doesn't matter. Turf, dirt, just a little unlucky in these last 2 races, getting beat in the shadow of the wire. Took some, pressure 2 back on the dirt, opened up, gets nailed here on the front end all the way. Looked home at the 16th pole, just couldn't hold off clouds of white Gatita Suave. But with a scratch of the 1, Matty Bow, I think that's really going to enhance her chances here to get it done on the front end with Barbosa. It was kind enough to meet us out here on the apron here today.
On the apron?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so I was like, on the jocks quarters. I said, Jeremy, I got you on a lot of horses a day, so I think he's live all the way through this racing card. But the 3, we're not going to get the 8-1, unfortunately, that we might have gotten on the turf. But Black Diamond Rain, this is an interesting claim for Jamie Ness. She didn't really run too well last time out, but the bump up is encouraging off the claim. A good workout, I think, leading in this one here. Look at this stat. I tweaked a little stat here, but Ness off the claim in a jump up of 50% of the tag.
And?
He's 8 for 12 with the fillies and mares the last couple of years. And I think I got it. I had a little note for Jerry Robb later, but that horse scratched. That's pretty strong with a 420 ROY. So I think Black Diamond Rain getting back ran really good 2 races back when getting in trouble, making a move into it before just slight flattening late. I think is dangerous here with Concepcion, who had a couple winners yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
Yes.
Had a good day yesterday. Probably going to continue that throughout the weekend. 4-3-2-5 for Keith Fusel in race number 3. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Of course, that is in this claiming 10,000, 6 furlongs on the dirt. Taking a look at my ticket now. With my ticket, I went on the more expensive, but there is one horse that I would shave off. So I keep it pretty simple. 2 deep in races 4 and 5 and 8. If you want to go cheaper, I would scratch off the number 7 in race number 8, Hello Hot Rod. I do really like the Jamie Ness horse in that field. So it gives you a ticket with 2 singles. But races 6 and 7, especially race number 7, every single filly in that field loves an off track. And by the time we get to race 7, do we still might have an off track? Who knows?
Yeah.
But regardless of even if we do, there's still going to be a little bit of the way it feels underneath their hooves, as far as just a little bit of moisture in there still, even if we do get to a fast track. So I'm just kind of banked on that. So I press all there. Race number 6, Jackpot Super High 5 race. Of course, that's always going to be a spread out. I go 4 deep. I'd go with number 2 as or number 5 as my top selection, but your top selection I'm also loving as well. Buggy Bonesy, we'll get to that in a second, but $38.40. If you want to shave that in half, that's a $19.20 ticket. So I just, last minute, I added the 7 just for fun, but if you want to, I'd probably take the 7 off.
That race you're talking about, your all race, it reminds me of race 6 yesterday. In the race that Tidewater won, we had the value in tall order. But, yeah, how about Tidewater? Good for TJ Aguirre. Yeah, but that was a good run again to get up in time by Outflanker, I should say. And Outflanker we just lost recently. I think, what did they say, it was 29?
I was going to use it as a hit for tomorrow.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll bring it back. Absolutely.
We'll bring it back,
he was one of my favorite stallions around here.
We did. We lost Outflanker, I think, at 29 just over the Timonium race weekend. But this one, that TJ Aguirre winner yesterday is a full to Benny Havens, not a half. So that was nice to see. But regardless, let's get back to action here. Race number 4, claiming 10, which have never won 2. 6 furlongs on the dirt for the girls, 3 and up. You have the number 8 on top in to the outside on your single as well in your ticket. Oh, taking a look at the wrong race.
Race 4.
Race 4. Race 4, taking a look at your picks. You go 1-7-2-4. Just taking a quick look at that ride. The Rapids, Phil Capuano. Barbosa has had a win on a track with moisture on it back last fall.
I think this one got just what she needed over at Timonium. Looked really good on the racetrack, I thought. Caught my eye. Was a good price at 5-1. Hey, I dove right in there at that number, but it got a little discombobulated early. Been caught up in between horse. Had to steady. Made a good little move into a very brisk pace. Just didn't quite have enough left late. I think just comes right back to a similar field today, maybe even a little bit lighter than it was, because I tell you what, Thunderboss went out of there off the claim, on the raise and ran okay, held the number. So Ride the Rapids with a good break, I think, position, gets it. I don't know if she wants to get involved with Coors Choice early, who's pretty quick out of there in that first opening quarter. But I think Ride the Rapids, again, benefits from that race, stalks and moves into it. I think she's going to have to look in the rearview mirror because Jane Street on a little bit of a drop, transitioning turf to dirt, the blinkers going on. I was impressed with the race 2 back. Number didn't come up really strong. Got a very good ride. Was outside, dove in, dove back out to get it done. This is the right move with the 5-year-old. You have to be aggressive at this time. You know, how much time do you have? I think this 5-year-old mare's got a big shot in here to close into it. And the 2, Aztec Bay, that's really on the improve right now. That's the key. This is the one that's just getting better and better and better, and had something a little left in the tank going through the wire over at the Big T.
And there we have it, 1-7-2-4 for race at number 4 with Keith. So did we want to take a look at Jane Street and that win that you mentioned?
Sure, we can. Yeah, let's take a look at that race.
We do have a nice look at that. So we take that, and then we just add the blinkers onto this, Keith. Things are looking pretty good then.
They are. This was a really good ride. Early on was about 4 wide, into the turn, dropped inside, and then is going to work back out. So very good ride by Brasino there. Shifts out and is going to be able to run down the lone speed. Now, Free Admission came back. I don't think didn't run a spectacular fig next time out. So that gives me a little bit of cause for concern. Drifts in a little bit here, too, as well, coming past the 8th pole. But sustaining the run, Jane Street. You got a live rider here, and Axel Concepcion. Not that Brasino did anything wrong, but a live rider, you're getting the bug a little benefit there. I think she's going to like what she sees up in front of her, what's going on with that flow, and brings a charge.
On top of that, look at the track too that she won on. So it was it was very similar, probably what she's going to be getting into by the time we get to race number 4, as Keith Fuso goes 1-7-2-4 in there. In race number 5, kicking off the late pick 5 is a maiden claiming 45, 6 furlongs on the dirt as intended for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Scratching the number 2, To Live is to Love. You have the number 8 on top, Sheriff Ronnie. This is your single on your ticket. Rudy Sanchez Selman, J. Ron Barbosa looking for the turnaround race here.
I think just a victim of some trips, a little unfortunate. You see that glaring number, the 83, and the Sir Barton behind Arabian Lion. Yeah, that just kind of jumps out at you. But then look what happened. You got to steady along early in that trip. A shuffle, a hop start. Then a little bit of trouble last time out when caught behind a little bit of a slower pace on a day that the speed just kind of kept going. It was a favorable run. And then this one had a little bit of traffic coming past the 8th ball to alter out, and I thought churned on okay. With this outer draw, and you're looking at the way this race sets up, I do want to see Barbosa aggressive. Get this one into the race early. I don't think he's facing the types that he faced down at Colonial, So I think he's on or near the lead. And finally gets through the maiden today.
So that's your single, but let's talk about 1 or 2 underneath.
Sure.
You go from the outside to the inside in the Rail Horse and Energy Efficient for Hammy Smith. Gets as you mentioned, live rider Axel Concepcion in this tack.
This is one I like. They put the blinkers on. Ran okay at 7/8 behind That's Mr. Mo's come back to win 2, right? Dead heated it in the 2 other than at Timonium. And last out of that same race against Sheriff Ronnie. I think these two have just faced a little bit better. That line last time out dirtied up a little bit. I think forcing the race a little too soon because of the way the track was playing. It just didn't bring that punch. I think you'll see a better punch today from Energy Efficient. There we go with Axel Concepcion again. A horse want to improve, though, is the 3, Infinite Series. You don't have this one in the mix, but Marilyn McMullen doesn't run a lot of horses, but a positive ROI type of trainer that can score at a price. I like the change of tactics last time. Took to rating, had to wait a little bit mid-turn before shifting out and finishing up well. This one just needs to make another little step up to hit the board in here. 8, 1, 3, and 5 in race 5.
I like that pickup there in the number 3, coming over and taking a change of pattern for a positive result, and 8, 1, 3, 5 for Keith Fusel, as he just mentioned. And we'll be right back after this commercial break to cover the rest of Saturday's card. And now we're back, of course, with turning things back into pools. We've got that jackpot super high 5 race, as per usual, here in race number 6, a restricted allowance race, originally on the turf. Now, of course, on the dirt. 5 furlongs to be exact for the girls, 3 and up. Scratch the 1 cut from class. Keith, you have the number 7, Pogie Bonesi. I have this one underneath, walking right out of the stall. A win 2 weeks ago at Timonium. Things are looking definitely on the upswing for this filly.
You're on with a win at a good little price yesterday. Right, but the same kind of tactics today with Pogie Bonesi. I'm like a broken record here. This one just he's done great with this one off the claim. Gutsy effort, lost the lead upper stretch at Timonium to come back and beat a pretty quick horse and Winked. I don't see anybody as fast as her early. Get to the front and just keep on going. Increase your position. Yes.
Especially going the 5 furlongs. She has the gate speed to back it up. You go with the number 2 underneath as well. Money's Worth now inheriting the rail for Graham Motion. William Humphrey gets the call. Probably going to be trying and getting the best trip that they possibly can. A lot to finagle with going a shorter distance here today.
Yeah, I don't think she's quite as fast as Pogie Bonesi, but I think she's good enough in this field to get position. She's got a glaring 82 buyer down at Tampa. Hasn't brought that back, but a couple okay tries on the turf. Back on the Lasix again today. Might need Hitcher Ride to go out and kind of entertain Pogie Bonesi on the lead. I think the 5 is going to be around a long way as well. I'd like to see that one take a rating hole, but I think the 7 just hits the front and keeps on going.
And there we have it, 7-2-5-6 for Keith Fusel in race number 6. Race number 7 is another restricted allowance race, but this one is on the dirt as intended. So we go 6 furlongs for this affair. Scratch in the number 6, Genie in a Bridle. You and I both agree. We just talked about how you can go, I went all on this race, but we happen to both have the same one on top, Deeds of Love, and Ned Allard, J-Ron Barbosa, but the breeding really was a big attractor to me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I tell you, the debut was visually much better than what that buyer came back as a 50 back in at the early part of the year, January 13th. You see that short comment was showed that speed inside after a little bit of a step slow, dropped back, came again, and then I don't know what happened, but laid off for 205 days to August. Maybe you have a little info on that one, but caught the right kind of field. It wasn't the strongest field, a little bit of a slower pace, so was able to kind of grind and keep on going. I think he's going to build up a lot of conditioning. The Lasix goes on, the ability to drop in and save a little bit of ground too from that outer post. I think it's going to work. There is a ton of speed in here with Shine Like a Diamond, Tamshar, Run Reagan, Run very fresh here for Russell. So I think this one's going to like the flow and improves off of that number at Delaware in the return and makes it 3 for 3.
And one that's not going to be on the lead is probably the horse that you also have a little bit of a video highlight on, Adelte Kiera. Let's take a look at that vid from last time out at Timonium.
Yeah, what a job DeMario has done off the claim for the nickel and just knocking at the door, 3 wins now, 2 straight. Caught a definitely the right kind of field at 1-2, because Charlie DeMario, he'll tell you, he doesn't run too many 1-2 shots, but you know what? She did not disappoint, and when he runs a favorite, they're 5 for 9 over the last 5 years. There's your stat for our man. But look at this, just a determined run for owner Kirk Sheehan. I like the form she's in. She's been competitive in 2 other thans. Right? Now
yes.
she's in the state bred A other than. Again, it shows the ability to sit from just off of it, a determined run there, and I think she's going to bring that run as we lose all of our papers again.
And you also go with summer odds underneath Diana McClure, Johan Rosado. This one likes a bit of an off track, but always just knocking at the door, especially she's been having, I love the 2023 campaign that she's had.
You know how many times I've chased summer odds, and she
do.
just breaks my heart time and time again, especially 3-back at 5-1. Again, she's got the perfect style for what's going to be going on in front of her. The run's just got to be timed perfectly. 5.5, I would even like her a little bit more. 6, I think she works within the exactas and tries.
As Keith used to go 7-5-1-4 in race number 7. Race number 8 is an allowance optional claiming 55. 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch the 1 Baracho. Scratch the 2 Dollarization. Still leaves that coupled entry of the 1A Cadre. Jumping out of the 5 post for Jamie Ness, Axel Concepcion gets the call.
Claim for 40, back in for 55, and holds the 2 other than. I'm sorry, goes to the 3 other than level. Maybe for a win and a claim, that'd be a good move for the owners, right? But Cadre, was well behind Pirate Rick when he was a stablemate, right? For these 2 guys were stablemates. But I tell you, the last race was a big confidence booster for this one. Was able to kind of get that lead in a shorter field off the turf and get it done. Shows a bullet coming back for Ness. I think, I don't know if I can fully trust the 5. He's quick, and he's going to be whistling out there to the front. And maybe the last, you look back on this page, the last time he ran for an allowance, he absolutely galloped with a triple-digit buyer. But I think Cadre, recency to go ahead and stalk this pace and go get him.
You got to go with what's hot, and you do with Cadre as well as I do for Jamie Ness with the 1A, that coupled entry breaking from post 5. As you go 1A 5-3-7, you don't have. Let's see. Let's talk about the 3 back in the woods. This one is interesting. Corrales Cruz, they team up relatively well together, and I like the spot that he has this horse in for today.
I agree, and I chased this one. I thought he ran very well at Timonium, despite being hung out 3 deep basically the entire way. You see the short comment trying. 2 back showed the ability to sit from just off of it. And if this track holds moisture, gets more moisture in it, some rains hit, that's going to move up the chances there of back in the woods, no doubt about it, because he has shown a rating gear recently, and he's going to need it today because he does not want to go out there really chasing hard or burning up in a duel with Pirate Rick.
And there we have it. 1A 5-3-7 for Keith Fusel in race number 8. Race number 9, maiden claiming 45. Originally 5 on the turf, now on the dirt. Scratching the 2, 3, 4, and 5. That leaves us with a 3-horse field, and let's dig into the rail horse and sustenance for Rudy Sanchez Salmon and Johan Rosado.
That's all I got for you in this race, Cal. It's all going to come down to the 1. Used this one last time at a good number at Timonium. Just got beat. A good effort when caught wide every step of the way. Second off the claim. Shown that speed on the dirt. I think it's his race to lose up front.
There we have it. And let's head over to lightning round to touch on a couple of subjects like Keith's value play and best bet. Let's talk about your value play since that comes up first. In race number 2 on the number 3, Captain Carter, you think, and I agree with you, is going to like being back at Pimlico again. Back at
Pimlico, back in the barn of Corrales. His best races were for this barn, and there is enough speed in here where I think he's going to be able to move into it. If the 2 brings like a B+ or a B race, he's probably going to win it. But don't think this guy can't get in the exact. And if this 2 falters a little bit, maybe upset the apple cart here with the 3, Captain Cardo. And I think he's going to hold close to double digits.
Was 15-1 this morning for the morning line, just like yesterday with your 15-1. That did definitely brought in some value play there. But let's talk about your best bet of the day in a race at number 8. Race number 6. And the number 7, Pogie Bonesi for Kieran McGee and Concepcion.
She owes me no money, and I think again with a clean break, you got her to beat. She's very fast and she's very game. So even if somebody wants to go ahead and hook her top of the stretch, they're going to have to really fight to beat her. So let's take a shot here with Kieran and Pogie Bonesi right back.
And there we have it, your value play and your best bet from Keith Fusel. And now a couple of one big update for you guys. Just announced yesterday, Ken Brown, we are now going to have a new superintendent come September 18th. But Ken Brown's return to Maryland marks a little bit of a homecoming. He was under the tutelage of John Passero, much loved superintendent from the Horsemen back in the 80s, 90s, but then Brown came down with Passero, has done some work in Maryland previously before going over to Delaware in 2005. Then he was in Canterbury for a couple of years, 2016, 27, before he was the one to restructure Colonial Downs. So now he's coming back on the 18th, and we are going to welcome him with open arms.
Sounds like a pretty good resume, a recommendation by Passero, who's done wonders with this racetrack over the years, both here and at Laurel Park. So, yeah, welcome to Ken Brown, and happy birthday, Mike Rogers. I happened to walk into a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a birthday celebration down at administration. So, happy birthday.
There we go. Happy birthday to our MJC president, Mike Rogers, and we will take it to Dave Rodman, who hopefully will give maybe Mike a little bit of a birthday tune, but we'll find out. But in the meantime, we have some more changes and scratches from him for Saturday's card.
All right, good luck, everybody.